Welcome back to my channel, guys. This is Miss Speak Clothing once again, and you see this beautiful piece that you're looking at right now. This is what we're going to be recreating. This is very easy to make, and I bet you don't want to miss watching this. So if this is part of the things you would love to learn, then don't skip watching. Wide leg pant is one of the easiest style you can cut right now, so if you're interested, then stick around with me. So I have my fabric folded into 4, as you can see, from the edge, 2, 3, then 4. I'd folded it into 4 already, and then you can see this bold pattern on here. So that is where I am going to be positioning it to be at the front. It's very bold at the front of the shirt. So the next thing is to take the length of this shirt. So I am using 30 inches plus 1 inch, that's 31. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take my neck width. I'm using 3.5 for the neck width, and then for the neck depth I'm using 2 inches. So just watch me carefully. So I'm going to come down further on the other side of this fabric, and then I'll come down by 1.5. That's going to be for my shoulder slant. Then I'll connect it to the neck width this way. I'll adjust the edges and then I'll pin it together just to hold them in place for me. So I'll go ahead and I'll cut them out. So on the shoulder slant, I'm going to be taking my sleeve measurements. It's not supposed to be a fitted sleeve, so use your sleeve measurement at this point. But plus the allowance I'm adding to this one is 10 inches in total. So on the shoulder slants, I came down by 10 inches for the sleeve. So at this point, you can use your measurements at this point. Moving on from there, I'm going to take the body size of the shirt right now. So I'm using 12 inches plus 1 inch allowance. Then I took 10 inches on that side. So on this point, I'm going to be taking 13 inches. Just to link it up with the sleeve measurement at that point. So the same thing I measured on the bust part, which is 13 inches in total, I'm going to be taking same 13 inches underneath. Mind you that this shirt is not a fitted shirt. There is no zip, there's no button, so it's a free body shirt. So that's why we are giving it this much allowance. So I'm just going to link it to the sleeve this way. It's a cut together sleeve, which means I'm linking the sleeve to the body of this shirt like I am doing right now. I'm going to cut along that line. So this is what we're left with. So I'm going to be removing a piece out of this two that I cut together. So I'm going to be using this one now as the front part of the shirt because of this bold pattern that is on the front. After adjusting it, remember that we took out 2 inches earlier. That's the 2 inches right there. So I'm going to take out extra 3 inches. So our neck is going to be 5 inches wide like this. I'm just going to connect it to the new neck depth. So I'll further mark 4 inch downwards. So I'm going to just open there. Just watch how I'm going to do it. So in all, the neck depth and everything is 9 inches. Open this part. So I cut out a piece of the fabric that I'm going to use to turn the neck over. So I'm just going to be placing the shirt on the small piece like this. Adjust it very well. Then I'm going to hold it down with pins. Do the adjustment for the other part of it this way. So I'm going to stitch this way, go round first and then come down and do this way, or I'll take it like this, go down, take it up and finish it. So whichever one works for you, go ahead. For the back part, this is the other piece I cut for the back part of the neck. So I'm going to also pin it down and do the same thing, stitch on it and turn over. That will be all. So this is what we have after finishing the front neck. I've ironed it, and then there's the back neck as well. So I'm going to be joining the both shoulders together, and like we always do, I'll hold the both neck together, then use one side of the lining to flip over, and then I'll pin it down. So I'm going to stitch on the edges this way. Then I'll do the same for the second side of the shoulders. So after stitching the shoulder together, I am also going to dress the sleeve by folding it inwards and just stitch on it. Once I'm done, this is what it looks like. You can see that the shoulder is neatly joined already. Look at how it is, and the sleeve is also dressed and neatly ironed for the both sleeves. So the next thing to do, I'm going to use a hemming gum to hold this little piece of this fabric that we used to turn the neck. We're going to use this hemming gum to hold it down, and this is a slippery fabric, so hemming gum is going to really do the magic for us. After that, we'll just close the sleeve together, and then we'll stitch all the way down. Do the same for the second side of the shirt, and then we're going to fold it underneath as well. That will be all for the shirt. And this is our finished shirt. This is the bold pattern on the front part of it, and also we also have a bold pattern at the back side of it as well. So over to the pants. This fabric is folded into two. This is the leftover we have after taking out the shirt from the fabric. So I measured 1 inch, so I'm just going to rule this 1 inch. I'll be taking the length of the pant from the 1 inch. Mind you, this 1 inch is going to be that allowance that you're going to fold when you're done with your pants. So it is very necessary to leave out that allowance whenever you are making a pant for yourself. Very, very necessary. Next, I'm going to take the crotch length. For this pants, I'm using 13 inches. So this person is really very big on the hip side. So this is my crotch length. So on the waistline, I'm marking 1 inch. So just follow me carefully at this point. And then I'm going to be marking her waist measurements. This is a wide leg pant, so I added extra 1 inch allowance. So exactly on the crotch line, I'm going to be taking the thigh measurement. So for this one, I'm using 17 inch for the thigh measurement. So on the waistline, I'm going to measure what I have on the waistline so I can reproduce the same thing on the crotch line. So just watch me carefully at this point. So what I had here, I measured it on my crotch line. So I'm going to roll a line so that I have a straight line running from the waistline down to the crotch line. So I realized that it was supposed to be free on the waistline, so I added extra 1 inch allowance because I'm going to be using an elastic band for a part of the back. So I'll go by 3 inches just to curve it. This is our new crotch length. So at this point, whatever I have on my crotch line, I'm going to measure the same thing underneath, and I'm going to subtract 2 inch from there. Between 2 inch or 1 inch is perfect. So I'll connect the lines together this way. So on the waistline, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. That's going to be for the waist slant, but I won't be cutting it away until I've added that extra 1 to the back of our pants. So I'll just link up this line to the crotch line. So the front part of our pant is ready. So I'm just going to lay the remaining piece of what we have, and then I'll just spread this one that we just cut, the front part that we just cut. I'll just lay it on the back part like this. This is the leftover we had. So just place it together and then I'm just going to trace all of the parts together. So before cutting on the waistline for the front part of our pants, I'm going to mark out also 1 inch for the back part of our pants, but I'm not going to be cutting it away now. So I'm just going to link it to the waist like this. So this is how I'm going to connect it. That's how the scissors is also going to be cutting out. So I will extend this crotch line a little, or the waistline. I will extend it a little by 2.5 inches. So I'm going to extend the crotch line this way, then I'll come down by 1/2 inch. So this is the line I'm going to be cutting on. So I'm going to slash on this line. So after cutting it, I don't know what happened, but it didn't really pick, my camera did not pick the other part. So I went ahead and I joined the crotch line for the back, and then this is the front. I'm going to be attaching a zipper to it. So I've made some videos about how you can fix a zipper. I'll leave a link in the description, or check the top side of your screen. You're going to see a link to that effect. So I have successfully closed all the parts. I've closed the crotch line as well. So this part, I'm going to be adding an elastic to the back. So if you want to cut a pant that has both zip and elastic together, you have to make sure the waist is a little bigger. So whenever you are making a pant that has both zip and elastic, this is what you're going to do. You increase the waist size by, I don't know, use your choice, but for this one I increase the waist size by 10 inches. So that 10 inches, I marked out 5 inch from the center of the crotch line for the back, the crotch line serving as the middle point. So I marked another 5 on the other side, and then I came down by 1 inch this way. So I extended the elastic this way and I pinned it down. So I'm just going to use my sewing machine to notch on the both sides of the edges of the elastic this way, on one side and on the other side, so that when you stretch it, it can take the excess of the fabric that is left. And then afterwards, you're going to use your waistband to wrap up the waist of your pant. So after all is said and done, this is the result of what we've been saying. This is the zip. I've neatly attached the zip. If you're confused as to how I attach the zip, I'll leave a link in the description, or you can check the top right side of this video for a link to that effect, so you can check it out. I don't want the video to be so long, so I had to just take out that part of it. Then the sides are neatly closed. The next thing to do on this is just to attach a button. You can see the wide leg of this pant. It is a very big leg. It's a wide leg of it. You can call it a palazzo. So with this, we've come to the end of this tutorial. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to also check the top right side of your screen, because I'll be leaving a link to another video that you might like. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to give my video a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you in my next video. Bye.